How does it feel like any success that you already have this season is really going to be attributed to yourself, given the transfer window and how tight the purse strings have been? How does that sit with you?
Not real well. Any success isn't based upon a coach or one person or a CEO. It's based on everyone in the club, and I'm a firm believer in everyone has to pull in the same direction within the organisation. Whether you're a player, whether you're a staff member, whether you're a front office person, it's really irrelevant. For a club to have sustainability and success long term, it really needs everyone pulling in the same direction.
Gone with co-captains. Why the pair of them?
Yeah, look, we did a range of interviews with the players when we came in, and Tags and Beeves were really two that elevated themselves above the group, just even in that initial stage, in the thoughts they had about the team and about the club. Tags in particular spoke passionately about the city and the desire to connect the team with the city and bring back that fan engagement and bring back that love for the team. So that was really inspirational for me to hear, coming from a player. And Beavers is obviously someone who's played over 500 senior games, throughout England and Australia now, and someone who just carries so much experience under his belt. He's just such an affable character. He's well liked throughout the team, and obviously extremely approachable for all the players as well. So just a tremendous leader, and to have both of them doing the role and sharing the role just builds a leadership group within the team.
How do you think Musti's handled the news, and how do you handle that?
Yeah, look, Musti's been out the whole season, so I don't actually think he needs that added pressure of being the captain. He's rehabbing at the moment, and there's a lot on his plate just trying to get back to full fitness. So, that's something that is his priority at the moment, and something that we need to be as expedient as we can so that we can get him on the pitch. He's such an important player for the team, and I've known Musti since he was 14 or 15, so just wanting to get him back on the pitch and knowing his qualities that he can bring to the team is really important too.
Your appointment is probably one of the biggest things that's happened at Glory in a long time, and has brought with it great excitement from fans and casual sports observers. How does that sit with you, the fact that you've sort of brought the spotlight back onto the Glory through everything you've achieved in previous jobs?
Yeah, look, probably a little bit too humble. I don't think it should be that way. It's not really about me at all. It's really about the club and really about the club being what it could be and should be. And I just spoke recently about football being the sleeping giant of Australian football, and I've heard that for so long, and I'm sure everyone in Perth has heard the comparisons of Perth Glory now and in previous seasons to the Glory days, in the late 90s. And, it's all a lot of rhetoric, and fans don't like hearing this is what we could be and should be. They just want to see people who are going to go out there and represent the club with the effort and the work ethic and the connectivity that they want to see. And I think that that's something that we all need to bring, whether it's the coach, whether it's the players, and again, whether it's anyone else within the club. And, that's a massive priority for me.
You signed at a time of great uncertainty for the Glory, with having Tony just handed back his licence and no owner in place, and that seems to be on the brink of being resolved now. Does that bring optimism for you and to get some stability here and as the season kicks off?
Yeah, yes and no. It's not something I think about or can control, so it's not something that's infiltrated into the team. We've just got on with the business of doing what we do and the old cliche, controlling what we can. And training's been at a high level, and that's really all we can focus on. It's not really our job to focus on who owns a club or how much money they're going to put into the club, because ultimately it's irrelevant. The resource in our club, the most important resources are the human beings that we have in the team, the players that we have in the team, the coaching staff, the passion that we come to work with every day. That's really the biggest capital in the club. And whether we've got a sheikh owning the club or the poorest man in the world, that's irrelevant. That human capital is the thing that's going to drive the club forward.
You speak sort of at length about the Glory days and touched on it there. Is it nice having a captain like Adam who sat in the stands during the Glory days and has been around for a while? Yeah,
of course, and that's an important part of him growing as a person and as a player, and I think he touched on that in his speech up on stage just recently. Him wanting to learn how to become a captain and a leader, and the more leaders you have in a group, the more people you have pulling that ship in the right direction. So Adam's got so much potential within him, and I think you could just see it bubbling to the surface and him wanting for that to come out. But it's just a first step for him and his leadership career, and no doubt he's got the experience to do it now. It's just about putting it into practice.
You mentioned before the victory friendly the other day over a few meetings around the group. Are you expecting a few of them to be resolved? What sort of group will you have to pick from for opening day?
Yeah, as I said, we've got a squad of 30 at the moment who are all competing for spots, and there's 6 or 7 that have been carrying niggles. You know, as I just alluded, Mustafa's been out for virtually the whole pre-season at this point. So, you know, we go into the season with probably 2 or 3 that won't make it to round 1, and that's going to happen when you have 30 players. And ultimately, it's up to us to push to that edge and push to that envelope and make sure everyone's as fit as they can be, and that's probably been the hardest part in pre-season, you know, us coming in halfway through and being able to juggle all that along the way. But, you know, I'm sure by the time we get to round 1 we're going to be fit and firing and ready to go.
10 days for the first game. Are you excited? It's been a long pre-season. Are you just looking to get on with it?
The longest pre-season in world football. It's a crazy pre-season in Australia, it really is. The fact that it goes for so long. There's no other country that does pre-seasons that are 12, 13, 14 weeks long. So the monotony of that for the players is a really difficult thing. You know, I was lucky and unlucky to come in halfway through, to miss the first part of it, being at the World Cup. But this is the part the players live for. You know, this is the part they come to work for. You know, not pre-season, they come to work for the competition and want to show their stuff. So, you know, we put all the hard work in and put all the pieces in place, and this is the fun part now, where you go out and enjoy yourself and try and compete every weekend and try and bring home those wins for the team and for the club.
Have you set expectations for this season? What do you think you can achieve? When you talk yourself down, the club itself, the team, what can they achieve this year after a couple of very disappointing years?
Yeah, look, it's a tough question, and I'm a little bit of a dreamer. You know, I really think that the A-League's so tight and close that anyone can achieve anything, and there's nothing stopping us from reaching the highest of the objectives that you can state for yourself. So why would we put a ceiling on what we can achieve? You know, to use, you know, Central Coast Mariners, they were wooden spooners virtually 7 or 8 years in a row, and within a couple of years they won the grand final. So there's no reason why any club in the league, including us, can't do that, so long as I said, we're all pulling in the same direction and we're all doing everything we can on and off the pitch to ensure that happens.